we know they're 40 minutes away. So she's basically telling me that if I pursue anything with this, that they're going to move my kids further away from me and I won't be able to see them as much. So my question is, how can I stop them from doing that?
Good evening, Erin. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, good. Good to have you. And Brian, good evening. How are you doing?
Doing well as well. Thank you.
Good. Before we do anything else, because I don't want the calls to back up, we're going to take a call from Missouri from Katrina. Katrina, did you have a story to tell or a question to ask?
Both, I guess.
Well, go right ahead. Tell us what the story is.
The story is my kids were taken in December, illegally, wrongfully, and stupidly. But my 13-year-old daughter, now 13-year-old daughter, is currently in foster care with placement providers, who has decided that since my daughter ran out of her prescription antidepressant, Lexapro, that she is going to give her the placement provider's prescription instead of getting her back in with the doctor because she missed the doctor's appointment. So she's giving my daughter somebody else's prescription.
Okay, well, we all know that that's not right.
Yes. I told my caseworker or my social worker about it, and she basically told me that the girls will be moved, but it'll be further away from us with people we don't know, obviously, which we don't know the people they're with now, but we know they're 40 minutes away. So she's basically telling me that if I pursue anything with this, that they're going to move my kids further away from me and I won't be able to see them as much. So my question is, how can I stop them from doing that? And how can I protect my kid when she's in foster care and the foster placement provider, is giving her illegal prescription?
Well, first of all, how old is your daughter?
13.
Okay, so she's old enough to confirm your allegation, right?
She's the one who told me about it.
Okay, so, I want you to talk to your attorney before you run out and do anything. But in my humble opinion, this is something that has to be reported, right?
I completely agree.
Giving somebody else, especially a child, your prescription for psychotropic medication, that could lead into a disaster, a disaster of major proportion. So, but speak to your attorney, but that's what I would do. The other thing is, you ask, how can you protect your children in foster care? That's really a hard question to answer because I'm not sure that you can do anything, right? And if the social worker is threatening to retaliate against you because, you've reported something that's of a great concern, I'm even concerned about that. I've been telling people for the last year and a half that, you should make these complaints, file these administrative complaints to the Department of Health and Human Services and the U.S. Department of Justice, the Civil Rights Division. Okay, and these federal authorities, I assure you, will investigate.
Well, that sounds good because I've got the reports almost finished. I also did one to the ombudsman and governor and everybody else that I plan on sending them out at the beginning of the month to everybody at the same time, hopefully trying to get something done because
I wouldn't wait on the two complaints that I said to make. Now, you notice I didn't say ombudsman because generally, and I don't know about your state in Missouri, but generally, they kind of work with CPS. They're not. And,
really?
yeah, in my opinion, they're not independent, investigators, whereas the federal government and federal agents are independent investigators. But I don't know. It might be different in your state.
Oh, I doubt it. So you said to send them to who?
The Department of Health and Human Services. It's a federal agency. It's the agency that controls all money and almost all laws because of the regulations that they issue.
I saw Brian's eyes get huge when he heard that she was getting somebody else's medication.
Yeah, Brian, what do you think of that?
Well, I'm kind of concerned because I'm thinking about the fact that, like, is this the right dosage? Like, how old is the prescription? Is it still effective? I mean, there's a lot of things that could be going on there that could be really concerning as far as, particularly if we're talking about somebody who's, a minor. Whether or not because if it's the wrong dosage, it could be lethal. If it's too high, potentially. But yeah, so that's something that is very concerning to me when I heard that. You said it was Lexapro?
My daughter is on Lexapro, but the pill that she's been given by her placement provider is a blue pill. So I'm assuming it's Zoloft, but I can't swear to that. My daughter says she doesn't know what it is.
It's not even the same. It's not even the same medication.
No.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. No. That is very concerning because there could be situations where, if she may be coming off of the other drug, and now she's having to manage this new drug that without somebody who's there who's trained in psychiatry to manage that could be very dangerous to her. And so yeah, I absolutely agree with Vince that this is something that needs to be taken care of like as soon as possible, because this could be life threatening depending on how that is managed.
I had told her IHS or her she's not really a therapist, she's an IHS. I don't know how to describe them, but
right.
What had happened, and she basically said Angel, or my daughter, was overreacting and being drama queen because my daughter's talking about committing suicide and happened to sneak out of the house and do some really risky stuff that she's never in her life done, that I am not okay with. I'm just kind of blown away that she would actually do something like that.
And that's exactly what can happen. Yeah, that's exactly what can happen if the medication isn't monitored carefully, because as she's coming off of the Lexapro and coming on to whatever this new blue pill is, her body and her neurochemistry could be completely, crazy. And so basically she may be reacting to the shift in the medication as opposed to, any kind of behavioral or environmental thing that's happening at the moment.
2 minutes.
Think of that.
Yeah. So yeah, I think your concerns are absolutely well founded, and I think that you do need to take action regardless of what she's saying in terms of retaliation. This is, this sounds like this could be life threatening to her. And what she's doing is absolutely unethical. She should not be trying to give your daughter any kind of medication for anything.
Hey, Katrina, I want to thank you for calling and thank you for sharing that story with us. Please call us maybe in 3 or 4 weeks and give us an update. Okay, we're going to take our first break right now. This is The Secret: How to Fight CPS and Win. We'll be back with more stories and more questions from the audience after these messages.